What is up guys, it's your boy Gunsoww. Welcome back to a new video. I just woke up and I'm also really embracing the homeless look, but what's more important is that you guys have 5 more days to buy all of my drum kits for 50% off, and I might actually even extend the sale because of this coronavirus thing, so if you guys want to buy my drum kits, now's the time. Anyways, a lot of you guys been asking me to actually do a bit breakdown on You Scared, which is the last track that I posted on this channel and on my Soundcloud as well, so that's what I'm actually gonna do today. So without any further ado, let's just jump into it. So as you can see, this is the project. I actually did kind of a breakdown on the 808 in one of the videos that I did a few days ago, so you might be familiar with the 808, but nonetheless, this is the whole project. For the melody, I actually was looking through my samples folder and I found one from Looperman. I don't really use Looperman, but my Splice subscription ran out, so I had to resort to something else. I also didn't know what to go for, so that's why I did use Looperman and didn't actually make melodies myself, but who gives a shit? So this is how the melody sounds like without any effects on it. Maybe normally you'd make something pretty pluggish around it, but I didn't, so there's that. For the effects, all I did was, EQ it, compress it a bit, throw in some reverb, added a halftime and another reverb just for automation purposes, mostly for the intro, and that's it. So now if I play it again, it's definitely a lot more cleaner, and the reverb really adds a lot to it just because of the ambience and everything. As for the intro, it's the exact same melody, I just reversed it. It's the exact same chain. And this is where the halftime and the reverb came in. Then we have the second melody, which is the exact same sample, just 1 octave lower, and I actually added a kickstart and a degrader just to make it a bit more interesting. And it sounds pretty cool, especially with the first melody as well. Then I actually pulled up Omnisphere, I know that's a first, and I added a small flute occasionally. And it's the same pattern twice. And then I added a serum, which you can barely hear, by the way, but it's just there. Can't really hear it in the full mix, but it does add some harmonies and it does help a bit. And it's a really weird sound that I made real quick, and that's about it for the melodies. Now, the main attraction, which is the vocals, it was actually a pretty random idea. Kinda had Get Low stuck in my head, so I decided to just say fuck it and actually use the acapella, and so I did. And now as you can see, the acapella has a lot of things on it. Stock, it would sound like this.
369, damn fine. What would you just suck it to me one more time and roll?
It didn't sound too crisp, especially with the other elements as well, so I started with an EQ. I got rid of a lot of the low frequencies, and then I compressed it just so everything is at the same level, because as you can see from the waveform, this part is really loud and then this part gets a bit more quiet. Then I actually tried adding some autotune to correct some things. Then I added an OTT just to make it even more interesting. It's a really cool multi-band compressor. Then once again, a different EQ. I had to boost it up in volume and did this kind of bandpass, but not necessarily a bandpass, just a weird low cut and high cut. Then a limiter just to actually keep everything at the same level so it's not peaking, so it doesn't get overly loud. A kickstart just to make it sound even more on BPM, but this one is actually automated in the intro. But this one is the main kickstart that actually is being played throughout the whole track with the mix at 50%, and it gives it the stuttery sound, and then a reverb that's being automated around this part. So now it sounds like this.
369, damn fine. What would you just suck it to me one more time and roll? Get low, get low, get low, get low, get low, get low.
And it sounds more usable, basically. That was the whole idea, so I can actually use it in a track without it clashing with other things and so on and so forth. Now, for the kicks, I actually have 2 kicks. I did the typical, you know, aggressive kick, but I actually cut a lot of frequencies out. So it's mostly just the bass frequencies and then it's being cut off at the mid section. But because I cut most of the high frequencies and, you know, the mids as well, I had to counter it with a different kick, so I used the second one. And I basically removed most of the lows from this one, so together they sound pretty nice. Because you have the bass frequencies and the upper harmonics, and it really helps in the whole mix. So you can actually hear it on a phone or, you know, on a different system than yours. And then, you know, a reversed kick. But this one is actually being linked to the 808 track, so you can't hear it. But if I turn it on, and actually go into the 808, I've already showed this one, so I'm gonna go briefly on it. Just in case you haven't seen the other video, the 808 sounds like this without any effects. It sounds pretty hard, but, you know, kind of weird when it comes to those slides, so with everything on. It does have some audio artifacts, but you can't really hear them in the track, so I kind of didn't want to bother to actually take them out. So yeah. And then we have the second 808, which is, you know, the plucky ones, the one that I covered in a tutorial a while ago. If I play them both, and these kind of 808s really add a lot of energy to the track, and they really make everything sound hella nice. As you can see, it's basically the exact same mixer chain, I suppose. I just got rid of the low frequencies. I added a delay on it and then some reverb just to give it some ambience. And then once again a no zone imager on the 808 as well, just because those hard panned slides tend to be a bit weird if you don't actually control the phasing of them, because normally they would sound like this. You know, they sound a bit weird, although the idea is hard as fuck, so, you know, those effects really make a difference. Then moving on to the hi-hats and everything, I got lazy, so I used one of my hi-hat loops. And actually stacked it with this real hi-hat loop. It's not really a hi-hat loop, more a real hat loop, but yeah, it sounds pretty good together. Then, you know, an open hat with some slight reverb on it. And then, you know, for the snares, I actually used, let me see, 3 snares. Well, 2 snares and 1 clap. And as you can see, the third snare, not only that it's being played 1 octave lower, it's actually played a bit later after the other ones. I don't know, it sounds a bit more natural. And that's about it with the snares. I didn't really bother adding those extra, you know, filler snares. I didn't feel like they were necessary, to be honest, because I didn't want to clutter the whole thing. Because the vocals were really prominent in the frequencies, so, you know, they were already using a lot of the harmonies, so adding extra things was kind of unnecessary. And then, you know, I added some extra filler sounds, I suppose. Not too many though, as I said, I didn't want to clutter the track.
Gunsoww got a crazy X.
And then, you know, a crash. Can't really go wrong with a crash. And this glass shattering sound effect. And then I added some drum fills. And some extra drum fills right before the second drop. And it's pretty interesting. Also, I added those plucky 808s right before the second drop as well, and they sound like this. You know, just to spice it up a little bit. And that's about it, honestly. It's a really small track with 28-ish, 30-something tracks in total. I could have spent more time on it and add more things, but to be honest, I really liked how it sounded, like the way it was. Also, I have to cover the ending, which is interesting to say the least.
From the windows
to the walls, till the sweat drop from my balls. All these bitches crawl.
I don't know why I decided to just put an abrupt ending to the drums and everything else and then completely switch the styles by using an actual acoustic cover of the track. I thought it would be pretty funny, and it kinda is, so mission accomplished. But I mean, yeah, this is pretty much it with the track. As I said, it's not too complicated. The vibe is right, in my opinion. It sounds pretty good. It hits pretty hard to the window, to the wall. But yeah, that's about it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Before I go, as I said, you guys can get all of my drum kits for 50% off for 5 more days. Maybe even more, because I'll probably extend the sale. And also, if you guys didn't know, we have a Discord server, so join it. It's actually new. So if you guys want to talk to me, that's the best way. I'm pretty much always online, so yeah, you have the links in the description. But yeah, it was your boy Gunsoww, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.